Welcome guys. In this video, the 1000 names of Vishnu, which particular name we should recite for which particular problem as per our horoscope. This technique is being revealed here. Okay. And at the same time, several other methods like how to use sublord and Upaketu, MC. So stay tuned and watch. Thank you. Somebody I met a couple of years back, and he fascinated me with his knowledge in Jyotish, in Ayurveda, in KP Astrology, and many other things. Then we did a live video with him on our YouTube channel a couple of years back. I think it was 3 years back or something like that. And I'm so happy, to bring him to Saptarishis Astrology channel. Please welcome Simon G. Simon G, welcome to Saptarishis Astrology.
Hari Om, Namo Namaha. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Simon, I still remember at that time you had given the lecture on Yog Tara on Nakshatras. And that lecture was fascinating. I remember you and Nilima ji were present. Both were. So, they fascinated me with the Yog Tara knowledge. Now, let me ask the most standard question, when and how you started Jyotish?
Well, it's a long answer, but I'll make it very brief. I've always been interested in astrology, and even when I was 10 years old, I remember going across town to see my first Western astrologer in Phoenix, Arizona, and she looked at me, very curious. Who was this kid who wanted to have his chart read? So it's always been in me, and I never thought I would end up doing it. But sometimes Dharma calls you by having people ask you to do the thing. So, for example, I would be carrying, Light on Life or something like that, carrying with me, and people would see. They'd say, "Oh, you an astrologer? Tell me my chart." And I said, no, this is for me. I'm just reading. They said, no, you know something. Tell me. And this happened over and over and over. And finally, I started doing readings for free. And, and then I'd ask, anything, donation. And then I charged $20. Whoa, that was a big deal. $20, But anyway, what the world wants from you is often your dharma, irrespective of what your plans are. God's plans for you are often very different, and he or she communicates those plans through other people, and so it often happens that way. But so that's the short answer. And the person instrumental in making it happen was Dr. Vasant Lad at the Ayurvedic Institute in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And at his institute, I met Hart Defoe, Robert Svoboda, I met Shri Nandima, I met so many, sacred and beautiful people, and that's where my love of Jyotisha began.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, who has been your primary influence as a teacher for you in Jyotish?
Well, you, Sunil, you're my primary. Clearly.
No. Means was it Robert or was it Hart Defoe?
Well, aside from you, it was Hart Defoe, and he was my first teacher in Jyotisha, and he talked so much about his own Guruji, Mr. Mantri.
Yeah.
Eventually, I met Mr. Mantri, had the good fortune to meet him.
Oh, wonderful.
And in case some of the listeners are interested, there's a beautiful book by one of his other students called Diamonds on the Bottom of the Sea that I recommend to people, and it details his own journey and how he met Mr. Mantri. And Mr. Mantri basically told him, in 1987 this happened to you, and then you left kidney, and then your mom did this, and he was like, how did you know this about me? And and because Poem was a philosopher, right? He said, "Oh, free will, we have all free will." And he's like, "Has my life been this predictable that this old Indian man just saw me and said, boom, boom, boom?" And so Poem tells him, "Are you psychic?" He says, "No, no, no, no. This is mathematics. Saturn was at such and such a point in 1987. You must have had back problems." He says, "Yes, I almost broke my back that year." Finished, right? So that's Mr. Mantri, and he tells his story. And in fact, if I could, I'll share the screen in a minute and show you that book. But yeah, so through Mr. Harteful and almost exclusively through him and some other teachers, I've learned what I know.
So did you learn from Mantriji also?
He only taught me. He knew I was no good at Jyotish, so he didn't even bother. So he said, I said, "Mantriji, teach me some Jyotish." He said, "You have to know Sanskrit first." And I said, "I don't want to learn Sanskrit. It's too hard." He said, "Well, okay, nice knowing you." And then I came back the next day and said, "Mantriji, will you teach me Ayurveda?" He says, "You have to know Sanskrit first." I said, "Sanskrit's too hard." He said, "Nice knowing you." So the next day I came back, "Mantriji, I want to learn Vastu." Same answer. So finally, about a week later, I said, "Mantriji, you want to teach me Sanskrit?" He said, "Yeah, if you want." And then that was it. So that was his. He knew I wouldn't be the best, the greatest astrologer. So he said, "Well, we'll give this kid something." So I studied a little Sanskrit with him. And this is, incidentally, what we're going to be talking about today is mantra, and using mantra to connect it to your own horoscope. And this is, Tantra is weaving things together. And what we're weaving together is the different disciplines: Ayurveda, Jyotisha, Sanskrit, Mantra Shastra, and the ability to weave them together is Tantra. It's the Vedic, it's even pre-Vedic tradition. So all of these great Jyotishis were Tantrics in that way.
Correct. Yeah.
The ability to use Ayurveda when it's appropriate. So when a client comes to you and they're hot and Pitta is happening, and and you say you had an argument with your wife, didn't you? And you said, "Yes." "How did you know?" "Well, your Pitta is high, obviously." So
well, for the audience, I'll just to keep them glued. Today, Simon G would be teaching something really brilliant that is traditional, and we were discussing this in August with Mr. Badoria, Upendra Singh Badoria, who's my guru brother. The same technique of Vishnu Sahasranam. But coming back, our people in US, what has happened in India is nobody wants to learn Sanskrit, especially the astrologers. What's the scene? I've seen people in US becoming very serious in their approach to Jyotish, wanting to learn Sanskrit. So is it still continuing or is it declining?
I don't know. I think it's the story of the rabbit and the hare, and the turtle and the hare. So in India, everyone speaks either Hindi or one of the other languages that are related to Sanskrit, and so they feel they have a big advantage. I already know enough, and so maybe they don't learn. In the U.S., we're all terrible at it. We don't know anything about it. We're like the turtle. So we start slow, but eventually, what happens in that story? The turtle wins the race. So you guys who are in India better be careful. But Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, they do all kinds of classes. Sanskrita Bharati also is very popular. So I'm not aware that the U.S. is, having a Sanskrit revolution or anything. But, I think people are serious. We have the disadvantage of having gringo accents, so we butcher the language. So my goal, in fact, I'm going to the Sedona Vedic Astrology Conference in a couple of days. One of the classes I'll be teaching is Sanskrit for Vedic astrologers, and this is going to be part of what we teach. So this is a little advanced copy, advanced preview of what we're going to do.
Say my hi to Dennis. I met him 2 years ago.
Yeah, we'll do. You should come out next time. You should teach some.
He has invited me twice. But what happens is traveling somehow, especially long flights, it doesn't suit my health. You can see how
Yeah.
gray hair I'm becoming faster.
Yeah.
Faster.
Yeah.
Soon I'll have to dye my hair.
Well, we have to look at your astrocartography lines. So if you have good lines here through Arizona, then Sedona can be a very healing place. You can get some sustenance. If you have bad lines, then obviously it's going to be difficult. So, but we'd love to see you here. You spend some time, and you come stay at my house.
It's thank you. It's the long 18-hour, 24-hour journey. So even last time at Taylorsburg, I said it very clearly. This year, June, I said it very clearly that I don't think so I'll be able to travel. It doesn't, long hours.
It sucks.
And being a smoker, the 24-hour gap of no smoking becomes a huge problem.
Yeah.
Anyway,
nicotine gum? Yeah.
Sorry?
Nicotine gum or other things. I'm in the same boat. When I was younger, I traveled everywhere all over the world. Now I get on the plane, it's like,
Anyway, let's come to today's topic, which is on mantras. So please go ahead with your presentation and do teach us how to use.
Let's do it. So I mentioned I'd share this. This is the book I was talking about, Diamonds at the Bottom of the Sea. And there's another book. So those people who are interested, it's a very interesting read. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is, what is a good mantra for me? And one of the ways to give people a mantra that is appropriate for them is obviously to make it according to the chart. And let's just use, this is a random chart here for today. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me pull up South Indian as well. So, and one of the techniques, let me start actually at the beginning. When I was studying Ayurveda, one of the things that Dr. Vasant Lad gave to people was what he called the Prakruti mantra. And this was based on the person's Ayurvedic constitution, which you get from taking the pulse. For those of you who know your Ayurvedic constitution, there is a simple formula which you can follow. But in addition to the constitution sound, which I'll share with you in a moment, you can add what's called the Manasik Prakruti sound, which is the sound of the moon. Now, what do I mean by that? Every space, every Navamsha in the 108 Navamshas, has a sound associated with it. And many of you are familiar with this. I wrote a song to help me memorize them all. Chuche chola lilu lelo a iu e o vavivu evo, etc. Like that, and it goes through the zodiac. Sunil, will you? Sunil, you may make some of these available. At least the ones. This is from my book called Gambler's Dharma. And in that book, I use sounds to help predict the name of the team that's going to win a sporting event. So this table is also there in that book. So in Aries, again, it goes chu, che, cho, la, li, lu, le, lo, a, I, u, e, o, va, vi, vu, e, vo. There's only one mistake, which is here. This should be sh, not d. So of all places, there's a spelling mistake in this chart in my book. Anyway, you guys can use this chart if you wish.
Yeah, I will put it in the comment section.
Excellent.
So that people can download it.
So the basic principle is this. Dr. Deepak Chopra actually made this widely famous in the United States. He called this primordial sound. And he actually trademarked primordial sound meditation, which is his technique of using your moon sound. That is, the sound of the moon syllable at your time of birth. So for this person, that would be hu, because moon is between 320 and 640 of Cancer, you could see here. And so that primordial sound, now I'm not qualified to teach primordial sound meditation, that's registered for his teachers, but the primordial sound itself is yours. It's in your horoscope. So what he did was he took that sound, in this case, hu. He nasalized it so it becomes hum. And then he added om namaha. Okay, so I can actually do it here. So om hum namaha. And let me write it in English in transliteration here. So om hum namaha, or om hum namaha. Can you see what I'm writing here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that's the basic, your primordial sound, or your monasic, your moon sound.
I have one question. I think you did mention it, but just for understanding it well. So the moon is in Pushya right now. So the primordial sound is who?
Well, it's in the pada of Pushya related to whom, yeah.
Yeah. So it is Parashara light gives over there HOO, right over there.
Yeah, right, there it is. Yeah.
So
and
he adds mer to it.
Yes, you nasalize it. You can, yeah.
Okay. And then you add prefix om, and at the end you add nama.
Correct. That's it.
This you chant
108 times, yes.
Okay.
Om hum namaha, om hum. And this gets you in touch with your core vibration. Om hum namaha, om hum namaha, om hum namaha. And you do mala every day 108 times. Takes 10 minutes. Okay? So that's your basic primordial sound. Now, what Dr. Vasanlal did, he added your prakruti to it, your deha prakruti, your physical constitution. So if this is the manasik prakruti, he added your deha sound. And basically it goes like this. If you're a pitta primary, the sound is either hreem or shreem. If you're vata, it is ain, and if you're kapha, it is clean. Okay, so whatever. So for example, Sunyoji, you're primarily a pitta type, I would say, just offhand. I could be wrong, but maybe pitta kapha or something like that. Is that fair to say, or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay. And these are based on this mantra, Om Aing Hreem Kling Chamundaye Viche, which is a Devi mantra. So for you, being Pitta, let's say your moon is in this pada, so your hum sound. So now we would make it Om Hreem Hum Namaha. Okay? So your sound becomes Om Hreem Hum Namaha. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, if you're double prakriti, let's say your vata and pitta pretty even, then you would add the ain. And vata comes first, pitta. So I put these out of order. So pitta should be after vata, in terms of the order that you would put them in, like that. So then this will become Om Ain Hreem Hum Namaha. And now you're honoring your Vata Prakriti, your Pitta Prakriti, your Manasik Prakriti. Namaha means I honor this. Make sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And everybody can do this if they know their Ayurvedic Prakriti. So this is a good way to start people in mantra, especially if they come from different languages where pronunciation of long mantras is difficult. These are easy sounds.
Right.
Okay, so it's a good place to start. And it gets you in touch with your essential nature. Now, sometimes people want to go a little bit deeper, and they want to this gets you in touch with who you are. But for people who need or want to start erasing perhaps negative karma and working on their salvation and working on making certain aspects of their life better, like relationships or their career, but not just in a material way, but in a fundamental way, like uprooting the negative karma that holds them back. One of the essential texts for that is the Vishnu Sahasranama, and I'm sure you know the story behind it, but I'll just encapsulate it briefly. That after the war, the great Bhishma is lying there. He's waiting for the right time to leave his body. Everybody knew astrology back then, by the way, right? He goes, no, the sun is not in the right place now. I have to wait because, right, the karmas I won't go to the best place. So while he's waiting, Yudhishthira, Dharmaputra, the son of Dharma himself, comes to him and he says, in fact, he asks him, what is the best mantra? What is the best thing I can do for my salvation? What is, and who should I worship? Who is that individual? And Bhishma says, you got to worship Vishnu, and here are his 1,000 names. And it's a powerful, powerful mantra. Now, not everyone has the ability or the time to do that. And one of the things I like about this mantra is at the end, like most big mantras, it has something called the Palashruti. Palashruti is, it tells you what happens when you do this mantra. If you're not familiar with it, it's the effects or the fruits of the mantra, right? And it's, it says when you recite this, you become free of fear and, all that stuff. But one interesting thing that it says is, Krishna himself says it. Let's see if I can find it here.
Lord Shiva tells it to Parvati.
Yes, but at the end in the Palashruti, one of the verses is from Krishna talking about this mantra. And anyway, I wasn't meant to share it. But basically he says, to the effect that, okay, anyway, I won't. He says, I love to hear the 1,000 names, but even the verses of the Sahasranama, but even reciting one verse makes me happy. Like if my devotee with devotion recites even one verse, then it is enough for me, right? And so that
tells it to Parvati that reciting the name of Sri Ram is equal to 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu.
Right. Well, yeah. There's and of course, yes. In the Hare Krishna, people also have that where that mantra is worth 1,000 recitations. But anyway, I mean, yeah. And it's all true because it depends on which mantra is appropriate for you. So I believe, in my estimation, what Krishna was saying to Arjuna was that when you recite the right mantra, the right shloka for you, you get that effect. And so how do we find the right shloka? So this again, we have to turn to Jyotisha, and this is where Mantra Shastra and Jyotisha come together and it produce precise results for the person. So what do I mean by that? So I'm sure, and you've had, you had the expert on this already, so you probably know some of these things. Yeah. But one of the places you can start is, for example, if you want just simply good health or good, physical karma should be to clear the karma related to your body, you do the mantra of the lagna. So in this case, the lagna is at 7 degrees Aquarius. Well, which shloka is that? I don't know.
Out of the 108 shlokas of Vishnu Sahasranam.
Correct, out of the 108. So before we did this, Sunilji very graciously, gracious to his audience, asked me to produce a way for people to be able to figure it out easily. And so I'm sharing this graph. So if, let me go back to the chart, 7 degrees Aquarius, looking at this graph, means you go to Aquarius, you find 7 degrees, and there it is, between 640 and 10, and it will tell you, it's shloka number 93.
93.
Boom. That's it. And now, to look up the shloka, there's a website you can go to, which is trsiyengar.com. Okay? And it has all
this particular link, we will give it in the comment section so people can easily find the website.
And I said 93, right? So it's going to be here. You can see on my screen. And we scroll. Now you can do this in a book. It doesn't have to be on the website. It can be anywhere. This is just happens to be a website that has this. And just be careful because the transliteration doesn't always match. So let's see. So Sattvavan Sattvikaha Satyaha Satya Dharma Parayanaha Abhipraya Priya Priyahor, and there's a lighted A here, Araha Priyakrit Priti-vardhanaha. Okay, make that a little bit bigger. So this transliteration is not correct. It should be Sattvavan, long A. And then this should be long A here, Sattvikaha. So maybe I'm not giving you the best website, but if you can read the Devanagari, it's best. If not, there are books. Vishnu
many other sites are there.
Many other sites, yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm not giving you. But anyway, so this would be your shloka to recite every day 108 times for strengthening your lagna.
You know, the most interesting part is, I'm interjecting and I'm telling you a story.
Please.
This year in September, I was in Ahmedabad with Badoria, my guru brother, and we were going to a very famous ancient temple, Ambaji temple. So it was a long journey, and we were discussing this same technique. Then we calculated for my body health.
Mm-hmm.
It is exactly the same shloka, 93.
Ah.
And it was the same. And during the whole time, I was trying to recite it and, get it proper,
Now here's the cool thing about the Vishnu Sahasranama is because some of these names of the divine you will imbibe. So Sattvavan, someone who is of a sattva nature, okay? Sattvavan, Sattvikaha, Satyaha, someone who speaks truth, right? Satya Dharma Parayanaha, someone who is devoted to following real dharma. Abhipraya Priyarho Arhaha Priyakrit Priti-vardhanaha. And here they have more translation here. Right? Priyakrit Priti-vardhanaha. He who makes friends and who grows his, let's see how they translate it. Priyakrit, who is wanted by others, who fulfills his love of devotees, who increases the joy of his devotees and his friends. So not your devotees, but the people who are priya, who are close to you, who wants the best for the people around you and who creates a community, right? Anyway, so this is a good verse to try to follow these examples.
The tough part was after Abhipraya. After that, the word, I'm finding it tough.
Priyarha, okay. Priyarha, Arhaha. Priyarho, Arhaha. Arha means devoted to. Priyarha. So there's an that is elided here. So Priyarha, he who is worthy of love, literally is what it means. Fit to be loved. Priyarha, Arhaha, Priyakrit, Priti-vardhanaha. So yeah, this is very interesting stuff. And to that end, it means, eating a diet that will make you sattvic. So no onions, no, no garlic, no spicy food. It's right there. Sattva. There's certain food is sattvic, certain is tamasic. Anyway, it's something to live up to. We can't all be it. Right?
So this is, say, you gave an example of health. But
yes.
Suppose somebody wants it for career or money. So we take the 10th Lord.
Yeah. By the way, this let me just finish the thought since you mentioned this. Priya Arha and Arha. It seems, why would this be? They're saying the same word twice. Priya Arha, someone who is deserves to be praised, and someone who is worthy. It means that you are worthy to be praised by those close to you, your friends who know you and love you, but also you're just worthy in general, even by those who don't know you and love you. So your conduct should be such that those who, even they don't know you, but they say, Sunil, he looks like a good man. I don't know him, but he's just the way he's walking, there's a glow about him. Not just by your Priya Arha, but by just in general. Okay, so that's how I take this verse. And thank you, Mantriji, for teaching me Sanskrit, because without him, this wouldn't make sense. And of course, these translations are often, the translator's opinion. So that's my opinion. Yes, so now to career. Well, and by the way, to finish the thought with the Lagna, you can also take the position of the Lagna Lord. Right? Particularly if you're also running that planetary dasha. So in this case, let's say this person is running Saturn dasha, which in this case, this chart is, and it's the Lagna Lord. Oh, so now I would look at 22 degrees Sagittarius and do that mantra, right? So as an astrologer, as a Jyotishi, you have to judge which is the best. But also you can give them both. So the person does 2 shlokas. Fine. No problem. Right? So that's how you would address the health. Now for career, I use something called the midheaven, the MC. The midheaven is what was directly overhead at the time of the birth. And it's not explicitly in the Vedic chart unless you look at the house system. And most of the good softwares will show you where the 10th house. Can you hear me?
Oh no, the audio had gone in between. Now I can hear you.
Oh,
You'll
okay.
have to repeat the midheaven part.
Yes. So most good software will show you the midheaven. It's called the MC, or medium coeli. It is what was directly overhead, and it represents the apex of the 10th house. And so in this example chart, it's at 19 degrees Scorpio. So we would go into the same chart, look at Scorpio, 19 degrees. Where is it? Right here. It's Shloka 69. Boom. You do that for career.
Okay. So in any other software, the KP house divisions will show the midheaven. Correct?
Yes. And the 10th cusp is the same for any of the house systems. The 10th house remains the same. The Lagna will remain the same. The other houses will change. But the MC should be the same.
Whether you take Placidius or this or that.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. In a Western chart, this is how it's represented. This bold line represents the MC. Okay. Now, here, let me just do something. There it is, unproportional. So it's always what's directly overhead, and there it is. So just for reference, for people who want to see the Western chart versus the Vedic. Right. And using the same logic, we can also use the 10th Lord, in this case Mars, and Mars's degrees. Okay?
But you personally prefer taking the MC?
I prefer what makes sense. So, for example, if the MC is, say, conjunct Venus, then that I'm going to hit two things with that same shloka. I would do that. or if Mars is, if I'm running a period of Mars, or it's also with it, I try to get the most bang for my buck. Or I would just do both shlokas. Why not? It's just 2 shlokas, man. Who can't do that? And you do each one maybe 54 times, or you do each one 9 times, or whatever is comfortable for you. Okay? And this again goes with Krishna's saying that says, even if you recite 1 verse, 1 shloka to me, I'm happy. But the whole thing about the Vedic system is knowing the correct thing. Even in yoga, there are 5 yamas, 5 niyamas. Ahimsa, satyam, asteya. But which one is appropriate to you? So the Brahmana has to always practice ahimsa, but the Kshatriya doesn't. If they try to practice ahimsa and forget about satya, asteya, right, aparigraha, they're going to have problems. For them, it's satya. You say you're going to do something, you do it. Even if it kills you, you have to do it. You abide by your prana, you control your prana, you only speak the truth. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But knowing the right thing in yoga, in Jyotisha, in Ayurveda, knowing the right herb can cure your disease. But you have to know what it is. So here, you have to know the right mantra. And this is one way to do it, is using Jyotisha, because it's the eye of the Veda, right? So that's it kind of in a nutshell. If you want relationship, you look at the 7th cusp. Now, the 7th cusp is very easy. You don't need fancy software. You look at what the first cusp degree is, 7 degrees here, right? If you're North Indian, and here's the South Indian chart, right? 7 degrees Aquarius. You just look to the opposite Rashi, 7 degrees there. So you would look up, if you want to bring love and invite love into your life, by erasing, by burning the karma that is holding you back. Because this is a very sattvic mantra, the Vishnu Sahasranama. It will help burn that karma. Then you recite the sloka associated with 7 degrees Leo, if you're the owner of this chart. That's it. Boom.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay. Since this is coming to me now, I'm just going to share it and maybe create a method for you. So you do the point, in this case 7 degrees Leo. You do the Lord of the house, in this case Sun, and you do the Karaka, Venus. So now you have 3 shlokas. And you can do that for any matter. Career, 10th house, 10th Lord, and the planet that rules the type of career you want to be in. Politics, Sun, right? Communications, Mercury. Engineering, Mars. Like that. So career can have different planets, Karakas. If you want children, 5th cusp, Lord of the 5th, and Jupiter. Now you have 3 shlokas. Say them each 3 times, magic will happen in your life. Try it.
Fantastic.
Okay?
Very nice.
All right. So questions on this method, we can move on to something else.
Yeah, I think you have explained it quite well. And what I would like is, in a future presentation, if we can go on MC, you know how Western astrology uses MC really well for transits, or something
powerful, very powerful. The MC is very powerful. Yes, my friend, earlier this year, Saturn transited her MC. The day it went exactly conjunct, she got a job offer.
Wow.
And it was a job that required hard work, of course, Saturn, a certain amount of discipline. It was, then Saturn retrograded back over, she had problems, and then it's coming back over. So Western astrology uses the MC very effectively. The moment planets transit it, job opportunities come. Or if it's Ketu, for example, you lose your job. Or there's gossip, right? Or something happens. And KP uses that in a whole different way, which is also very interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So KP would use the sublord of the 10th cusp to show us what the job will be, what the person's best career is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Could we take an example chart of a
celebrity
or anybody? It can be anybody.
Well, let's first let me just use this chart to show an example of how you would use the simplest MC technique. So in this case, the 10th cusp is at 19 degrees of Scorpio. So the simplest technique says, if there are planets near the MC, the one closest to it will key the career. So the MC is at 19, there's Venus, just only 6 degrees away. This person will have to be, the career will be related to Venus.
Okay.
Art, fashion, clothing, jewelry making, music, that kind of thing.
But that's still not using the sublord. What would
No.
the sublord for the 10th?
Yeah, so this is a Western technique that is very handy. It's a very quick technique when there are planets close to the MC. There won't always be, and so you can't use this technique. But if there are, it almost always produces correct results because it will tell you what the person will be known for. Even if they end up not being an artist, say by trade, they'll be known for their Venusian quality. They'll be our artist-like, that kind of thing. If it's Mars, they'll be known for their athleticism or engineering skill or military skill. If it's Mercury, it's communication and business. If it's Saturn, it depends on Saturn's strength or weakness, the sign that it's in. It could be corporate work, business, or it could be, janitor work. Who knows, based on Saturn's strength. But it will follow the nature of the planet. All right. Now, the KP is a whole nother thing. So using this chart, let's just go ahead and use this, and then we can use an example chart. And I have to confess, first of all, that I am still a young student of KP. KP is this beautiful system, but there's a lot of intricacy to it. In this chart, so the way you would use KP is you would take the sublord of the 10th cusp. Now you're going to say, Simon G, not everybody has the software. Well, we have a free ready reckoner here, a sheet. So if you know your MC is so this starts with Aries, okay? S stands for sign, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. In this case, it was Scorpio, 19 degrees, right? So you look in this and you find 19 degrees. There it is. It's this.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
And this is the sign. And so basically you're going to look at forget these letters. The last planet is the sublord of that cusp. So where's 19? There's 19 degrees. So Ketu is the sublord of the 10th cusp. So immediately that tells us something interesting. This person will have, Ketu is, he acts like Mars, but he's also eccentric, different. So the person may work in a foreign country. They may be a rebel. We don't know, but Ketu is one of the planets influencing career. Then you look at the chart itself and see, what is Ketu acting like? Well, in this chart, he's in the 11th house with Saturn, Jupiter, so that's going to give us some ideas. But let's use a concrete example because this doesn't exist. This is not a real person now. So is there someone that you want to pull up?
It could be anybody. It could be
Okay.
Donald Trump or whoever. I mean, anybody.
Well, all right, let's look at Donald Trump. Let's look at just Trump. Boom. Okay. All right, so this is El Señor Trump. Okay, so the shortcut here, his cuspal sublord of the 10th house is Jupiter. Okay? And so Jupiter gives us an idea of what the career may be focused on. Now, you're going to look at everything that Jupiter is doing in the chart. And by the way, his 10th cusp is 1 degree Taurus. The closest planet to that is actually Upaketu. I use the Chayagrahas because sometimes they give us information. So Upaketu, very close to a person's MC, says there'll be some shady business. Okay. Whatever it is. There'll be, or they'll get ill fame, ill reputation. Something about their career will be under the influence of this Chayagraha. So that gives me some doubts. Anyway, the cuspal sublord of the 10th, Jupiter. Now what we do is look at what is Jupiter's nakshatra and sub. So now Jupiter is in a star of Mars and in a sub of Rahu. So it becomes a little bit involved, but Mars Rahu includes things like law, politics, foreign things, import, export, real estate, obviously Mars, now we know he does real estate, and Jupiter is in Chitra Nakshatra, which has to do with building, right? Architecture, contract work. Jupiter is in the 2nd house of finance, banking. So we could say this person is a banker, possibly involved in law or politics, or, real estate, housing, that kind of thing. Okay. And I know this doesn't sound very precise. You said you could narrow. Well, I'm a student of this, okay? And of course, we all know what Donald Trump is, but he does all those things, by the way. He's into finance and he's into real estate, obviously politics and etc. Because a person's lifetime is very long, and they will do many things, right? He wasn't always a politician. But the main thing you will look at is that the cuspal sublord of the 10th house will give you the key to that person's career. And in this case, it's Jupiter in Chitra Nakshatra. I hope that made sense. I know I went off the deep end there a little bit.
The more the audience watching this video, the more they will practice it. I'm sure.
Yeah. And maybe it's a video or it's a topic for its own video, because I'm trying to give it here in a nutshell. But those are two ways you can use the MC. And probably the best way is just find out what your MC is, whether you have to go to a Western program or whatever, and watch when planets transit. Okay? Those will be key times for your career. Jupiter transiting, great. Rahu transiting, it's time to invest in new business cards because your title is going to change wherever you work. Sun transiting, some opportunity, or you'll get a new boss, or you'll get a management position. Like that. Okay?
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Simon, for coming on Saptarishis and teaching us how to do our specific Vishnu Sahasranam mantra and this MC technique and sublot technique. And we would like you to come further and teach us on Upagrahas.
On which one?
Upagrahas, like Upaketu.
I'll tell you. Honestly, the way I use them and the way I discovered them is by looking at game charts. So I would look at a basketball match or a football match, and when the Lagna Lord conjoined Gulika, for example, that team or the head of that team, the captain, would be confused. He wouldn't play well. And so the team often, they may still win, but they wouldn't play well. And that's when I started to take notice. And yeah, we could do a class on Upagrahas. I don't want to, let's not give away all the secrets here. I've noticed a few things in natal charts of what they do.
That'll be great. That'll be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Simon.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
My pleasure. Okay. Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.